Well, good morning again, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of You and Me and Multiple Sclerosis. My name is Pam, and I've been living with multiple sclerosis for 37 years almost. I'm not a professional in the medical field, but I consider myself something of an expert on what it's like to live with MS, or at least what it's like to be me living with MS, for, more than half my life now. Today, we're experiencing a very interesting weather thing. It's changed a lot. Last time I made a video, I was telling you it was going to be 100 and something. Well, today when I got up, it was 38, and it's only going to be in the low 70s today. Sunny and nice, but even so, I'm amazed at how much change we're having. This year has just been odd in so many ways, right? Well, speaking of seasons, I want to talk a little bit today about multiple sclerosis and the seasons, because that is something that's really, really important to those of us who live with MS. Where most people might say, that seasons distinguish whether or not there's snow or changing leaves or going to the beach or whatever. The folks with MS always have to think about that extra thing. What is that season going to be like for me? And so, when I think about the 4 seasons, spring for me is pretty good, since thankfully I don't have any allergies or anything. But summer is interesting, depending on where you live. When we lived in upstate New York, very humid, very, very humid. I'm sure that much of the country deals with this. If you live in the South, if you live in the Midwest, if you live in the upper Midwest, there's a lot of humidity. And that is the hard thing for the summer for me. When I lived in upstate New York, I pretty much spent the whole summer in front of the air conditioner because I just was zapped. I mean, talk about fatigue. I got that almost immediately from that really, really wet air. And I remember not liking it even when I was younger, but it sure didn't zap me the way it does now. So here we are back in the West, and the Northwest is very nice. It's very dry, so even when I talk about it being 102, at least the humidity is fairly low. It's reasonable. I don't think I'd want to stand out in the sun for too long because you could burn really fast. There's no humidity to block the sun's rays, and so you burn before you know it. But that's a small complaint compared to the fatigue I used to feel in the humid weather. I'd be interested to know if others of you are affected in that same way. Does dry heat bother you as much as the humid heat does? Because I know for me, I can't stand a hot tub, for example. A lot of people think that is so relaxing and fun, but I can't be in a hot tub for more than 5-10 minutes, and I'm just like a spaghetti that's been cooked too long. I just can barely even function. I have to get out. And it affects my thinking as well as my body. I hate it. So anyway, enough of that. I just don't like humidity. Have I made that clear? Well, okay, so then, thinking about the fall, I love that time of year, the cool weather. The up and downishness of the fall can be kind of tough, just like spring. Kind of the same thing in reverse, though. Not knowing from day to day how to dress or what to expect, that can be a little tricky, because I know for me with MS, I have a very small window of what I would call comfort, and defining comfort in a really extreme way, where you can leave the house and the temperature, the weather is not a factor in your life particularly. There are very few days when that would be true for me, but certainly the up and down, not knowing, should I bring a sweater, should I bring a jacket, should I wear a tank top, should I wear long pants, or should I wear capri pants? I don't know, and that can be tricky. So there's that, and the fall can be that way, at least in the early part of the season. But then in the winter time, I have to say, I'm not really big on ice, but snow, that's great. And the cold temperatures, as long as there's not a biting wind that cuts right through you like it can do, I actually kind of like it. And I would love to know, Do other people have similar experiences or similar favorite seasons for the reason of just, being able to get out and do things, not feeling overly tired, not feeling cranky? And that's another thing. I'd love to know, how do the seasons affect your mood? Because I wonder if, for me, a lot of my short-tempered irritability comes from just the summer weather. And even though, to me, it doesn't feel as uncomfortable here in the West as it did back east, I've been looking forward to the winter to find out if I have a little bit more emotional reserve, shall we say. Oh yeah, and then there's the wind. I guess I need to talk about that because it's really important to my life. And in the East, I didn't deal with this nearly so much, but out where we live in Eastern Washington, it's windy a lot. Not for coincidence is this one of the areas of the state where there are windmills everywhere, because wind is a constant thing here. And I'm talking wind that's, easily above 15 miles an hour, going on up, 40, that on a really windy day. But even in a breeze, okay, this is a little bit my own fault because as you can see, I like my hair long. But on a windy day, this thing is blowing in my face and it's hard enough to see. But I think even with shorter hair, because it's been times when I've had it shorter, when I pulled it back, whatever, the wind disorients me. It really affects my balance. It's difficult for me to, feel steady somehow. I'm very sensitive to the pushing of the wind against me, and it doesn't allow me to feel really secure in my footing. And this is one I really want to know. Do others of you have that same problem? And is it only my fault that I live in a windy part of the country? You need to let me know. But that's it. That's all I really wanted to talk to you all about today. I think that it's important that whatever season you find yourself in, if you repeatedly see that certain types of weather give you a hard time, look for ways to cope with that and do yourself a favor. So if you're living in a humid climate, you better think seriously about investing in an air conditioner. I hate to say it. I know they're a big power draw and everything else, but you won't even have a summer at all. You'll be spending the whole season in front of the air conditioner feeling like a limp rag, and that's just no fun for you or anybody else. So you might want to think about that. There's also people have had good luck with the cooling vests or the cooling necklace or things like that. I tried those when I lived in the humid East, and they didn't help me at all because they just kind of felt clammy to me. I could try it maybe out here in the West, and maybe the dry heat, maybe it would be better. In the wintertime, be sure that you have adequate footwear for the more slippery conditions. Even if you have to buy those yak tracks, I guess they're called, the spikes that you clamp onto the bottom of your boot or your shoe that will help grip in the snow and ice, because your chance of falling is all that much greater if the weather is at all slippery. For your home, you might want to invest in a canister of the ice melt. You can just sit it right there next to your front door. If you have steps that go down to the sidewalk or whatever, you might want to put that on there or have your loved one put it on for you, because again, ice can be tricky. It may look fine and you can still take a spill if you're not careful. One of the things I know about MS is that once you start falling, it's really hard to catch yourself. So it's best not to even go there. So those are my pieces of advice for you. But again, I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to know how the seasons affect you, how they affect you physically, how they affect you emotionally, and in any other way. And in the meantime, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to drink my tea, which, by the way, this mug, I bought this back when I was in early college. I was with my sister. We went to the mall, and I bought it at a department store that is no longer even there. But it was a great day, and I will always treasure this mug for the memories that it brings for me. Well, let's let you get on about your day, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again in my next video.